Now, the time has arrived for me to conduct an overall review on the remastered version of Crash 1, which I played earlier this year. The game is part of a remastered trilogy containing Crash 1, 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and 3, Warped. This may be an unofficial review since I didn't have the original game growing up, or even now. My first game was Mind Over Mutant. If I buy it again, I will surely cover it. But now you can relax, as now the review shall begin. I've decided to split this video into 3 sections: controls, characters, and atmosphere. I chose to link some of the music with the last 2 sections, as if I talk about it on its own, I'm bound to end up with a copyright claim. At the end of the day, this is my review, and henceforth my own opinions. However, if you disagree with my score or my points, then I'm open to hear for how you think this game does. With that said, let's get on with it. Crash Bandicoot 1, like the series as a whole, is a 3D, 2D in some circumstances, platformer notable for its difficulty. No! Oh, that's stupid. No! I knew! I hit him at the same... No! No! I knew it! This game is a remake of the original Crash, so hence it was the first in the whole selection of games. The game goes as follows. Crash is a creation by an evil scientist called Dr. Neo Cortex and his colleague Nitrous Brio. Think of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but instead of a monster, think of a smoking car heap with teeth and eyebrows. As Crash, the marsupial, you work your way through 3 islands to save Torna, the girlfriend. Ugh. Already it's a simple enough story with good execution, not littered with cutscenes like most games. Personally, I found the controls were easy to pick up when I first played the game, and the first level served as a brilliant start and tutorial for newcomers of the series. I definitely required it after Mind Over Mutant. It felt smooth and satisfying. Every perfect jump, spin, and that's it. Crash 1 was limited to the technology of the time, so unlike 2 and 3, slide jumping was non-existent. And to stay true to the original, it was non-existent in this remaster. Other than that, which doesn't really bother me, the controls are a solid 10 out of 10. Simple for series newcomers who hadn't heard of Crash because of the gap between Mind Over Mutant and the N.Sane trilogy. I think one key ingredient for all platformers is to have memorable characters and brilliant boss fights. Crash 1 manages to nail it. Torna, Coco and Aku Aku are the only characters with no boss fights. They're the good ones. Torna is being the weakest link due to a lack of character. The only character she gets in this game is that she is in captivation and is useless. But I mean, that's the stereotype. Coco's storyline, however, is pretty cool. She used the Time Twister, Crash 3's hub world, which we'll see in a future playthrough, to travel back in time to help Crash in some of the levels. I still prefer Crash, but the optional character to play as is cool. And then Aku Aku, who hasn't changed much since the original, and his character isn't as fleshed out as in Crash 3. But his design is better than Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant. Here is the list of the bosses of the game and how I see them. Papu Papu, a tribal chief that is angry that you're invading his island, serves as a brilliant first boss in terms of simple difficulty and the knowledge that he is not too intimidating, and it means that you can get used to the controls in these boss fights. Ripperoo, he belongs in Arkham Asylum. The first of Cortex's minion bosses, and a thorn in my side for part 2 of my playthrough, his fight took a nosedive in difficulty, and I remember being stuck on him so badly in 2017 that I ended up leaving the game for just under a year. Did you see the rage comp at the start? Gaze on the horror that was my gameplay in this boss fight. Koala Kong. My least favourite boss, and in my opinion, the most underrated, boring, and miserable boss fight. However, he has character for sure, and his fight wasn't as bad as Ripperoo's fight. Maybe those minecarts can just do one. Pinstripe. Al Capone himself. A gun was a weird choice for a kid's game, however, it fits his character. The CEO bodyguard that he is, he stands out as a great character, being foreshadowed in levels before, and leaving an impact on the game's story makes him crucial since he destroyed the generator. However, he never turns up as a boss again in any of the Crash games. He appears as a Crash Team Racing boss, but I'm not counting that. Again in that game's remaster, he appears as a playable character in Crash Boom Bang and has a small appearance in N.Sanity, but that's it. What a shame. N-Brio, or Nitrous Brio. His fight slaps. The music and the atmosphere make it memorable. His appearance gives him more of a Frankenstein's monster vibe, and it serves to me as the first threatening boss in the game, given that he is human. But my god, dodging those purple potions and the death perception in the second phase really sucks. I can imagine this wasn't as good in the original, but still, it manages to hold up and look brilliant today. Cortex. It's in this game, and the other Naughty Dog Crash games, that Cortex feels like a threat. It's games like N.Sanity and Crash 4 that bring out his character a bit more, as a more comedic side villain. I mean, he's still the main character, but he's more intimidating in these first few games. Having him loom above you on his hovercraft with the castle up in flames as a backdrop is really intimidating. Once again, the music slaps, but the hitboxes on those lasers are blimmin' awful. Overall, the characters and their boss fights are a solid 9 out of 10. The only reason it's a 9 out of 10 is because of Koala Kong and Ripperoo. But I can see that, I mean, that's how they were in the original game, that's how they are in this game. I just guess I didn't enjoy it as much. By far, Crash Bandicoot 1 single-handedly has the most dark atmosphere of all the Crash games, from the not-so-threatening, simple jungles to the dimly lit ruins and corridors. My favourite atmosphere comes from the third island, Cortex Island. Most levels faithfully recreated in modern graphics. My top 5 levels due to the atmosphere are, and these aren't just on Cortex Island. Number 5, the generator room. Its music helps it get here. It is a striking level that changes the scene entirely, but I have to agree with what others have said, that in the original, it is better. This version is lighter, and the phases Cortex pulls on the screens aren't as intimidating as the original. Number 4, Slippery Climb and Stormy Ascent. These are the same levels practically, it's just one of them is way harder. And even though I haven't played Stormy Ascent, climbing up the castle walls with rain all over the screen and lightning thundering in the sky is brilliantly scary. And the music, oh, it's frightful. The enemies and platforms add to the atmosphere and the character of these levels. Number 3, Lights Out and Fumbling in the Dark. These two are practically the same levels, but Fumbling in the Dark is even darker. These levels give me the feeling I'm really there, breaking into Cortex Castle. My big problem is its design of tight jumps and a narrow layout. However, the darkness and decoration really add to the level and makes it very memorable. Number 2, the Great Gate and Native Fortress. I love these levels. The sky lit up towards the top, the sight of Cortex Castle in the distance, and the tribal paintings dotted up the walls of the towers. It gives me vibes from Raven Tales. a show I watched when I was on holiday. I don't even watch it now, but it's a bit random. However, this is my personal thoughts. Number 1, the lab. This level, even though it has horrible difficulty, as you can see now. I knew! I hit him at the same... No! It sticks with me to this day, one of my favourites. The music sounds like embryos, however, it's more scary. At the same time, kind of like Robot Chicken. The darkness looming below you and the scientists throwing potions and stumbling towards you with their electric gauntlets, it's bloody nightmare fuel. But that's what cuts this game from the rest of the Crash games. It's absolutely desolate and terrifying. Atmosphere receives a 10 out of 10. Overall, Crash 1's remaster gets a 9 out of 10. It's got great controls, brilliant music, atmosphere and memorable characters. Its fights, even though not complex, are still difficult and fun to do. But what brings it down is its slightly horrid difficulty. Don't get me wrong, it's alright. In the original, some of the controls are a bit jank, but it was easy. I mean, I've seen the high road in the original, and then looking at the high road now in this version and playing it, if you saw in my hard levels episode, it's way harder. And breaking the hitboxes on those darn vultures and turtles and lab assistants in the hardest levels isn't a cool move. It may just be my ridiculous gameplay, however, I was tearing my hair out. Other than that, apologies for the length of this video. Definitely a Crash 2 playthrough and review coming next, but I hope you're all having a brilliant day. This took ages to do, but if you want to see more, spin that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss out on more gameplay and reviews. I am Jack, the man with the propeller, and I'll see you soon.